Stranger Things Season 5, Part 1. Of course, we only have 4 episodes. This is going to be a spoiler reveal, or um, spoiler review. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited to talk about the rest. I don't know with season 5 if the way they're dropping it, since they're dropping someone like Christmas Day, if I'm just gonna like go fuck it, let me watch all the episodes that day, since I don't work that day when they drop those episodes. I don't ever work Christmas, so maybe I will, and then I'll just like talk about the finale in its own video. I don't know how I'm gonna do it with Stranger Things season 5. Before we get into this, let me just rant about this for a minute. Why the fuck are they releasing these episodes for the way they are? First of all, they're stretching out the episode release. Now, first of all, if you do that, it's like, okay, you think, okay, Netflix, this is Netflix's biggest show. They're trying to keep it around as long as possible. But then you read the Duffer Brothers wanted to release this shit weekly. And they said no. So instead of releasing it weekly, which would give them more of the show for a longer period of time, instead they said, fuck that. We're going to release 4 episodes the night right before Thanksgiving. What the fuck, guys? Because, like, everybody's going to want to watch these episodes for, like, spoilers and shit like that right away. Well, guess what? How the fuck do you have over 5... Like, you have to have, like, 5 hours to sit there and watch the content of these episodes. So you're going to be rushing through them, binging them real quick, and you're not really going to take it in and fucking enjoy it. Or are you going to be like me, where you're going to have to, like, really stay off of social media for, like, several days, just so you can actually get a chance to sit down and finish them yourself. Because holy shit, like, why would they do that? And then Christmas Day for some of them? Motherfucker, who's going to have time to watch, like, 4 episodes on Christmas Day? I think it's only 3. Because I don't fucking know. But it's just like, what? And then New Year's Eve for, like, the finale. What the fuck, guys? At least New Year's Eve I kind of get, because you know what? Like, a lot of people are probably going to make plans to just watch that with their friends as, like, a New Year's Eve party. Hey, let's celebrate the new year and watch Stranger Things. So that one I kind of get, but the rest of it, I'm just like, why the fuck are they doing it? And if they just want to keep the shows around as long as possible, then just release this shit weekly. Why the fuck are they doing it like this? It feels like actually punishment to the viewer, the way they're releasing this shit. And not only to mention that, just the release of the finale in theaters after saying that they weren't going to do that, but they're only doing like less than like 1,000 theaters or some shit I read. Like, why the fuck, guys? I'm going to try and see that shit in the theater, but holy shit, if they don't play that shit in the theater, if I don't get to see that shit in the theater, I'm going to be pissed. Because I like, us fans deserve to see this show in the theater. Why are we doing this? I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's my rant over with. So I love Stranger Things. I was kind of a late adopter to the show. I didn't really start getting into the show till like late into the time after season 1 released, and I got on board right before season 2. So I remember just being an excited like 15-year-old kid watching that trailer over and over again for season 2, hearing that thriller music, and just being all over in love with the show. And then you got season 3, which really disappointed me and kind of killed my love for the show. And I kind of went over some of that in my reviews for the Stranger Things season, so I reviewed all of them. And then season 4 kind of renewed my love a little bit, but also rewatching it just right after season 3 reminded me of like, oh, this show's really clunky and not great anymore. And so season 5, like, it felt like it was exciting because it's the end of the show and it had been time for the show to end. And you're always excited for a show that you love to end, but you're also kind of sad. And so I had a lot of mixed feelings kind of going into this. Just not really excited to revisit Stranger Things in a way, because I was just so kind of like done with it the way it's happened. But that being said, this episode really did some these episodes really did some amazing work. I loved the character work they did for Will. The storyline about leading up to him having powers and shit. The emotions behind that of just being true to yourself as someone who's going through similar feelings like that in my personal life. That was just really powerful stuff. Fortunately, I do not have magic like 11 type powers, but it's okay. Beggars can't be choosers. But you know, maybe one day. See, don't have powers. I don't know. I really enjoyed a lot of that. The storyline about the kidnapping the kids felt a little convoluted because I was like, motherfucker, okay, like they're kidnapping all these kids, but they like went through this like convoluted way of kidnapping this kid, and then they ended up not really needing to kidnap him, but he's just dragged along for it, and it just felt like, all right, maybe they could have streamlined some of these, and that's kind of where my issues kind of come in with this season. I'm just like, someone was like, what? And then like when Max returns and they explain some of that stuff, I'm like, that's a lot of like convoluted talk. I missed the show being fun and simple and exciting, and you know, I'm loving all the stuff here. And then also I was just like, you really are getting the sense that there's way too many characters, which we already kind of felt from last season. I think most people felt that, but there was a point where you're watching it and this season and you're like, it feels like somehow certain characters regressed. But I'm also like not too ready to criticize a lot of things because I don't really know what is gonna happen with the other episodes. So Steve acting a certain way or Jonathan acting a certain way, which were big things that I had issues with watching these episodes. Is that a thing where maybe the next few episodes they'll be fixed? So I don't know. Knowing that there is more to come, we'll see. But I really fucking hate the way this show's being released for a lot of reasons. But it just would, man, it'd be so much easier to digest these. I don't know. Also, watching these episodes, seeing the military subplot and shit like that, really, like, I'm really not enjoying that Welcome to Derry series, which I'll review that season when it wraps up. So just, if you're waiting for me to review that show, just know that. But I'm really not enjoying watching that show at all, to be honest. I watched, like, the first episode and enjoyed it, but the rest of it I'm just like, I'm not crazy about this show. But that show kind of feels like a Stranger Things knockoff, and now Stranger Things kind of feels like a Welcome to Derry knockoff. I know it's inspired by Stephen King stuff, but it's like, geez, it feels so uninspired. Not Stranger Things, but Welcome to Derry. Anyways, you know, that's gonna do it for this review, I guess. Let me know if you guys have any theories about what's going to happen next in the show. You think I missed over anything, let me know in the comments. I'm not going to make a follow-up video until more episodes drop. So, let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe.